We're here at the Moving Image Centre in Auckland, and today I'm chatting to Rhian Sheehan about his new album, Standing in Silence. Welcome to the show, Rhian.
Thank you very much, Ada.
Now, the reason why we are actually at the Moving Image Centre is because the Standing in Silence concept of the album is much bigger than just music, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially it's a soundtrack to a coexisting non-dialogue film which we shot in China and Japan and little bits of India. But it became more than that. It became, because we released a booklet of still imagery as well from Andre Jewel, which is some of these photographs behind us. So, it became, all of a sudden it became more of a, not just about the album, but really about, the multimedia side of it as well. So we decided to have an exhibition rather than, an exhibition that coexisted with the CD launch rather than a gig or anything, to launch it off. Yeah. And
it's quite a unique exhibition because people who come into the space, are welcomed with headsets. That's correct.
Yes. You have, there's 100 wireless headphones, so you can, if there's 100 people here, you can. There were last night. You can walk around and switch channels. There's one channel for here and one channel for the film room. And the idea is that, it's a silent exhibition. You're standing in silence, I guess.
Yeah. Now, there'll be many people who are watching this who aren't based in Auckland who haven't had a chance to come and see the exhibition. Be going, well, how can I get a taste of this for myself? Now, obviously, there'll be the album.
Yes.
But there are some images within the album which people can check out.
Yeah, the cover image was, this is the photo that I took this photo on the outskirts of Delhi at the end of 2006, and this image really sparked off the whole concept of Standing in Silence for me, because when I got back to New Zealand I kept revisiting this image, and for some reason the music all just seemed to come based around the idea of someone standing on a hill pondering our existence. He probably wasn't pondering our existence, he was probably thinking about something else, like dinner that night, or who knows. But essentially it just started from there really, and I was working on Andre Jewel's a trailer for his upcoming documentary film about the Varanasi by the Ganges River in India. And it's the first time I'd met him. He came to stay with me, and he showed me some images that he'd taken at the time, and I was just kind of wrapping up the album, and it really kind of solidified my direction of being able to finish the album by looking at these images. So, I bounce really well. I make music better when I've got something to bounce it off. So I'm really into the idea of working with image, still and moving. Yeah.
Now, a bit of history about Rhian Sheehan. People may be familiar with your material from Paradigm Shift and Tiny Blue Biospheres, but Standing in Silence represents a bit of a change for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I haven't released an album since 2004, so it's 5 years almost of. So I think naturally over that kind of time period, your interests change in music, and I just kind of had a little bit of falling out of love with your typical beatsy electronica. Doesn't really do anything for me now for some reason. And I'm a big film buff, and I watch films just for the soundtracks. That kind of. I love soundtracks, and so I guess it kind of came across in the music really, and that's what I'm doing predominantly at the moment. I work on soundtracks, and always working with moving image mainly. So I think it was just a natural progression to go off and do something that needed. It's not as blatant. It's not music that you could listen to in a club, for example. It's just music that you would switch on and hopefully it's ethereal enough and subliminal enough to move you without having to think about it too much, really.
And so, with Standing in Silence, are you going to continue making music in the same way, where you have parts and it's more soundscapey?
I guess so. I really didn't originally set off to actually write to write an album with this. It just ended up being that I had enough. The material came together, and before I knew it, I did have an album, and the concept all came together. But predominantly what I do is I work on, mainly to make a living, kind of corporate stuff and film soundtracks. I'm working on a film soundtrack at the moment for a UK company. So, that's probably what I'll end up doing more of, I think. And maybe in another 5 years I might release an album if I have enough. material.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for your names in the film credits. Cool. Well, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. And
likewise.
Congratulations on the new album. That's
Thank you.
Really great. And we're going to check out something a bit older of yours. Do you want to introduce us for us?
Yes, this is An Afternoon on the Moon, which was, I think this was made back in maybe 2003. Enjoy.
An Afternoon on the Moon by Rhian Sheehan.